glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. There's Troy laughing with his gin and a grin, telling stories about where he's been. Boomer's got whiskey, he's loosening his tie, chasing dreams under a midday sky. The bartender knows us, he's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment we're happy to share. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for the day. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. Sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh and we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
Salut and welcome. So glad you could make it here. Happy Monday. Monday for you. If it's not, my goal is to instill you with at least a little bit of hope for the week. We'll see if that actually comes to pass. Mondays are the days that I call it Monday Musings. Just what am I thinking about today? And usually that's going to be something that I talked about or started to talk about during Geeky Geezers. I want to expound on. But sometimes it's something that didn't quite make it into Geeky Geezers that I figured I would cover. And this is an example of the latter one, but I kind of went a little further than any single article. So we should kind of get to it as quickly as we can, but I do not want to rush through saying hi to all of you that are joining me on this first day of the week. Starting with Big Al at Big Al Presents. He says, Happy Monday, Liquid Lunchers. Have a great show, my friends. Thank you. Thank you so much, my friend. I really do appreciate that. As well as I appreciate Connie Cleary, the bird woman of YouTube, Fluff Chick Productions, and one of the most wonderful blue wrenches one could ever ask for. Says hail. Yes, hail. Of course, she's also a channel member, so she's dropping the fedora, the mumbler, the logo, and the Canarble wagon. Thank you so much. Of course, I beat her to it, telling her that I love her, and then there she is, calling me the love of her life. I know she's been busy this morning. She hit the ground running today. Like, share, subscribe, become a member, leave a comment, and perhaps a gifty if you are feeling so inclined. Very much appreciate that. Merpo! It is lunchtime! I'm wondering what musings or so-called governor is our so-called governor is having today. Yeah. I'm not getting into all that political stuff, at least not directly. I'm focusing on the pop culture today. Feeling pretty positive about some things that I'm seeing, despite some things that would otherwise be very discouraging. We'll touch on that a little bit too. So let's get over to my shared screen. All of these articles are coming to us from That Park Place. I went to That Park Place for one specific article, and then I saw let me see, 4 articles that touched on what I wanted to talk about today. So I'm like, you know what? Let's take a look at all of them. Jonathan Conroy says, "Hail all, smash the like button and enjoy the show." Yes, please do. I hope you do enjoy the show. So this one comes to us from LW Ghost. He has a very unique and very personal insight into the entertainment industry. He is a person worth listening to, or ghost worth listening to, I suppose, depending on how you look at it. Anyway, however, this article that we are going to look at a portion of is a premium article. I happen to be a premium member of That Park Place, and I think you should too, if you want the kind of insights that I get on pop culture to do what I do. However, we're not going to look at that here today, because I am not divulging the paywall here. You should go and take a look at this article, and I just want to look first at the headline. Corporate execs claiming that they get why DEI hurt them and are fixing it. Protest too much, Lou Wasserman's Ghost thinks. So what he's basically, let's read the opening of it, right? The folks at Imagineering, and of course he's talking about Disney, now have a story they're telling, and we all know they loudly proclaim that it's all about the story, right? This one's a real doozy. They claim draining the rivers, now swamps, of America and removing as much Americana as they can from Frontierland at the movie The Magic Kingdom is part of reimagining and helping guests discover and create their own folklore. And the unstated subtext, as with all such pronouncements from Disney management for the past 10 years or so, is, and if you disagree, it's an icky, yucky, doo-doo head, so there. So what they're basically talking about is this reimagining that they're talking about. That's code, not really code, for cultural Marxism. It is coming in, wiping away the old, removing your identity, put everyone in the same uniform, minimalism, give us no reasons for there to be any disparity, any differences. Get rid of genders, get rid of race and color and culture, and no company should be different, so let's make sure the logos are plain generic. Minimalism. Do a study on the relationship between minimalism and Marxism. They go hand in hand. Minimalism is a tool of Marxism, and I mean, Star Wars, the Ruin Johnson film encapsulated it perfectly with that one line: "Let the past die, kill it if you have to." That's Marxism, pure and simple. That's exactly what it is, and that's what Disney is currently doing to their Americana land, and people don't like it. Why then did I start out the show saying that I think we're seeing a victory, that we have reason to hope? Let's go back to the title. Corporate execs claiming they get why DEI hurt them. So Lou, without getting into the behind the paywall of this article, based on that, you can probably guess that Lou doesn't think that's true. That they are saying one thing but meaning another. Regardless, though, the fact that they're saying it means they are aware not only of the problem, because they know they created the problem, but they are aware that we are aware of the problem. People have woken up. The average person, the so-called normie, not people like us that really pay attention to this and talk about the culture wars on the interwebs, but the average person is starting to notice these cultural issues. Let me real quick say hi to the people that have jumped in here, including Booger. Good to see you, Booger. It's like living your own truth, unburdened by common sense. Yeah, pretty much. But not even living your own truth. Living the truth you are told to accept. That's very, very crucial. What can be unburdened by what has been? More cultural Marxism. Exactly right. The Ministry of Textiles will issue you your uniform. Exactly. Exactly right. Welcome to Maoism at its best. Welcome, Wilky's Movies and Music. Good to see you, my friend. Channel member. I'm a member of your channel as well. So glad that you're here. Not all corporate execs get it about DEI. They all do, Mark. They all do. It's just many of them are aware of it, know what it is, and do not care because they are not on the same script as you. They don't care what happens to the business. They only care about what happens to society. They are trying to remake society in a specific image. They get it. They absolutely do get it, Mark. That is the thing to be aware of. And they are not seeing Cracker Barrel taking 100 million stock hit. Again, yes, they are. They don't care. Look, some of the same people that are on the board of Cracker Barrel used to be on the board of Taco Bell. Look at what Taco Bell looks like today. Look at how they conduct their business. Cracker Barrel is the same thing. Again, minimalism, Marxism. They go hand in hand. And it's again, they do not care. Who is behind all of this? Same people that were behind this. BlackRock, Vanguard, all the big finance groups. They don't care about the money. They've got so much money that's constantly making them more money. The money is coming in faster than they can do anything with. They don't care about the businesses individually. They only care about how they can use them as a tool to reshape society. Because in the end, this is what happens with socialism. The ones at the top become infinitely wealthy. They own everything, and everyone owns nothing. When they talk about redistribution of wealth, they mean all of it away from all of you to those of us at the top. That's it. You know, just saying. Anyway, I'm getting a little off the topic here. I wanted to be hopeful here, but I guess I had to lay the groundwork for why we've been concerned. So, as I've pointed out, those of us that are paying close attention and sounding the alarms and shouting it out on social media, you know, we've been called conspiracy theorists. We've been called everything under the book, right? Can't you just let us enjoy? Let me eat my popcorn and enjoy. Well, I don't care that they put some queer people in this movie. You know, it's still mostly entertaining. And, you know, the music is nice. Look at the pretty colors, right? Well, even the normies are starting to catch on. Snoop Dogg torches Disney Pixar as rap legend blindsided by Lightyear 2 mom scene. I didn't come for this. Now, this was what, 2 years ago? I mean, this came out. He's only just now getting around to this? He's that far behind the curve? Yes, because he's not watching this channel. He's not watching Culture Casino, Midnight's Edge, Valiant Renegade. He's not watching those. He's busy doing his thing, right? But when he finally does get around to it, he's like, the hell's this stuff? You know? Let's get into this. This one comes to us from Marvin Montanaro. When one of the biggest names in entertainment takes aim at Disney, people notice. See, this is what I'm talking about. Someone like this, who's a normie when it comes to what's going on as far as all this DEI stuff, you know, in entertainment. When he starts to catch on, and then he points it out, and then all of his followers start to catch on, that's a good sign. That's exactly what happened this week when Snoop Dogg, the rap legend and cultural icon, openly criticized the Disney Pixar film Lightyear for inserting a same-sex parent subplot into what was marketed as a children's adventure. His comments quickly went viral, igniting a cultural firestorm and raising fresh questions about Disney's insistence on injecting divisive political messaging into family films. Apparently, on the It's Giving podcast, Snoop, I didn't know what that was. Snoop explained how the infamous scene created an awkward moment for him while watching the film with his grandson. Snoop's got grandkids? Yikes. I feel old. When the boy innocently asked, Papa Snoop, how'd she have a baby with a woman? The rapper admitted he was blindsided. His blunt response pulled no punches. I didn't come here for this shit, Snoop said. I just came to watch a GD movie. Yeah, that's just it. And this is what we've been talking about for a long time. Yo, Joe, I see you there. Thanks so much for being here. Actually, this is a little bit of a side thing, but it is something I wanted to bring up. Jonathan Conroy, don't forget all the golden parachutes soon to be handed out after all the damage has been done. When the company goes bankrupt, yes, golden parachutes for the executives on those boards. But the real people behind it, they're not going anywhere. The people at BlackRock and so forth, they'll just turn to another company and do it to them as well. And keep in mind, too, you tend to think about the average stockholder expecting return on investment. That's not the case for the executives and those in the C-suite. They are paid. They get their money regardless of how the company does. And then they turn around and they vote themselves a raise. So again, they don't care. You know, always this misunderstanding of people's motivations. So this is exactly what we've been talking about all along. When we said parents go to these movies, get awkward questions from their kids, are forced to have conversations their kids are not ready to have, they are not ready to have with their kids. There should be no reason to be bringing up this subject with such young kids. But that's what they want. They want to sexualize your kids. They want to warp their minds for nefarious reasons. And everyone said, no, that's ridiculous. That doesn't actually happen. It happened to this man specifically. Specific human being talking about his specific grandson that he had to have this conversation with. And if it's happening to him, it's happening to thousands of others. There's no reason for this. People are now becoming aware. Now, I think he's late to the game because if you look at the box office for Disney, you know, we talk about it every time. They're losing money on all of their films. Why? Because people aren't going to see them. There's a lot of reasons, not just this reason. There's a lot of reasons people aren't going. But a big part of it is, and again, this is anecdotal, but we have heard from theater owners and managers who said they've been getting calls from parents in advance of a Disney film coming out saying, hey, look, before we come see this movie, we just want to know if there's anything we should be concerned about, or should we just stay away because, you know, because we've heard about Disney. And honestly, this is what I'm saying. The average person has woken up and said, you know what? No, we're not bringing our kids to see a Disney film. It's not safe to leave our kids in front of the Disney Channel. Well, Disney Plus now. It's not safe to take my kids to a Disney film because something's going to be in there that's inappropriate. That's not what should be considered G-rated. And I'm going to have to deal with it. You know? But that's what I'm talking about. The idea that I think we are coming out the other side of cultural awareness. I think the average person is starting to react to it. And if you just, from your political prism, if you just look at all of what's going on in the world, and the way populist movements are rising up, and the average person, you know, the flags being flown in the UK, for example, people are saying, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. You know, the only advantage to calling the theater is to let the management know that they should think twice before scheduling these movies. Yes, that is the other side of it, right? You know, it does raise that awareness. And you're absolutely right. The theaters are doing that. The theaters are now pushing back on Disney going, no, we lose money when your movies play here. So don't try to coerce us into getting the IMAX screen or keeping it for however many days, or we don't get your movie. Fine, keep your damn movies. Put them right onto your Disney Plus because we lose money on them. We're doing you a favor. You're not doing us a favor anymore. So Disney lost their bargaining power with the cinemas at this point. Of course, other studios have gained that, you know, because they've been putting out decent movies that people actually are going to see. Thank you so much, Nate, and welcome. I don't think I said hi to you earlier this morning. Boy, the days kind of blend together. I can't believe the summer's just about over. We're going into autumn. We're getting into the Halloween season, which is essentially the beginning of the holiday season. Wow, this year has just flown right by. I think what's happening is that the people who are, let me blow this up, usually not politically minded, the independents, are noticing that one side is definitely more crazier than the other and lack common sense. Yeah. They see this stuff. And look, I mean, I'm always going to point out that, you know, that you go to either extreme, you're going to find some nut burgers, right? But one side does tend to have a much more ubiquitous level of insanity than the other side does. Just saying. All of this reminds me of the Deep Space Nine scene where Quark gets Garrick to try root beer. It's so happy and bubbly, and if you drink enough of it, you start to like it. It's insidious. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah. Well, once you get addicted to something, right? It's so difficult. So I do have a couple of other articles that I think you guys are going to like, but we will get to those after the promos for this week, and I'm going to refill my glass too. Be right back in just under 3 minutes.
You are watching Liquid Lunch, streaming every weekday at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Let's sip together. After Mr. Burns steals oil from Springfield Elementary and blocks out the sun, he is shot by an unknown assailant in the cliffhanger ending to Season 6 of The Simpsons. Then, the mystery is explored and resolved in the Season 7 premiere, with many cultural references, including several to Twin Peaks. We'll explore who shot Mr. Burns this week on Live from Sparkwood in 21, Tuesday at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern, on Deleted Scenes and Affiliates.
With her main drive unit damaged beyond repair, the Scorpio and the crew will be stranded on the base, unless they can find a replacement. Dr. Plaxton and her drive prototype provide a dream solution, except there's one problem. She's working for the space rats. Can the crew obtain a new star drive? Next time on Last Call Presents Blake 7, Tuesday at 10 p.m. Central, 11 Eastern.
This week on Netters Network, we're celebrating a channel that just hit the milestone of YouTube monetization. We'll sit down and chat with Corey of Wilky's Movies and Music and give you a chance to subscribe and maybe become a member. All this and more.
This week on Saturday Night at the Movies, 3 female African-American mathematicians play a pivotal role in astronaut John Glenn's launch into orbit while dealing with racial and gender discrimination. Genius has no race, strength has no gender, courage has no limit in Hidden Figures. On Netters Network Retro Cinema, Saturday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern.
Every Sunday evening, Aged Boomer and Papa Pacelli bring you the rundown of the week's geek news, or at least what they think is interesting. You may have heard about it somewhere else, but Boomer and Pacelli put a spin on it you likely won't hear anywhere else. It's Geeky Geezers, every Sunday evening at 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
We now return to our Liquid Lunch.
And also tonight at 8 Central, 9 Eastern, members. There is a members night at the movies. However, I did not get a poll up, so I'm just going to choose, and I'm not doing it unilaterally. I am going to draw from previous polls, films that you have shown interest in. I haven't yet decided. That'll happen within an hour of the end of this stream. And that'll go up on the members tab. You guys will see it. I apologize. About half of y'all here are members, so I will, of course, repeat this message to all the members in the members tab. Booger says, I like the root beer scene because it makes me rethink Canar, which always looked kind of thick and syrupy. I actually have a bottle of Canar behind the bar, and that's not a joke. I really do. Star Trek Spirits. This is not a sponsored ad or anything like that. Just saying, Star Trek Spirits has the license to put out Star Trek themed drinks, and they're basically going through all the main drinks that you've heard about in Deep Space Nine and throughout Star Trek, and putting them out. I've got a number of bottles of blood wine and 2 different kinds of Romulan ale. And like I said, I've got Canar, but I haven't yet tried it. Good afternoon, Leia Plus Size. Hope your Monday is going well. Got some time during lunch to stop by and hear Troy's news of the day. Yeah, we're talking about how I feel like we're winning the cultural war, and outlining my reasons why, kind of to give everyone a little bit of hope, Welcome, JPRPH1, also dropping the membership emojis. Thank you so much, my friend. But let's get back to the articles. This one, also from that park. These are all from that park place. Wonderful outlet. You should definitely be following them. But I have competed in quite a few blood wine competitions. Mine never seems to come out palatable. Yeah, it's interesting. I actually have a collection of blood wines because over the years there's been a number of places that have had the license to do blood wine. There was one that was produced by the Star Trek Experience in Las Vegas. We have a bottle of that. We tried it while we were in Las Vegas, and it wasn't that great. So I just got the bottle for the collector's purpose. And then there was another one after that, but before Star Trek Spirits picked up the license. They also had put out cans of Klingon Warnog. So I got both of those. And now I've got several different types, bottle styles of blood wine from Star Trek Spirits. Interestingly, I just realized I don't think I've opened a bottle of the ones that I've gotten from Star Trek Spirits yet. I'm going to have to give that a try. My Saurian Brandy, on the other hand, is quite good, but it comes from an official cookbook from the 1970s. There you go. There you go. I'd be interested in finding out more about that. I may or may not have that book, and I would love to know more about it. In the garden, picking tomatoes. Having farmland in the Ketha lowlands is one of the benefits of living on the homeworld. There you go. So this Kumail Nanjiani signed 6-film Marvel deal for Eternals. Once boasted film was upsetting the right people before it flopped. So I'm not going to... This is an article that you could... And all of these articles, by the way, are linked in the description below. This one you can go read for yourself. I'm not going to get too into this. But this smug son of a bitch is a perfect example of... partly why we get some of the casting we do. They will blame it on diversity, but what it really has more to do with, and this has always been true in Hollywood, when these actors sign contracts, they sign contracts for a number of movie deals. Now, when you hear that someone like this has signed on for a 6-movie deal, and then they're cast in the Eternals as a particular character, you assume that means they're planning to do 6 movies that are going to involve that character, and that's not what it means at all. That means 6 movies that Disney makes in order to complete the... So it could be some romantic comedy that has nothing to do with it's just... And you'll hear about this, especially in old films talking about, you know, that are the story revolves around old Hollywood. We got this movie coming up. Who do we have on contract? Yeah, their name. Okay, yeah, that let's put him in that movie. That's how a lot of these things get cast. That's why you got Pedro Pascal in so many things. They contracted him for so many movies, and they're like, well, we got to just kind of put him in everything, you know? Even when they cross to another studio, oftentimes that's a deal between the studios. Hey, can we get you to do a movie with Pedro Pascal? That's one more movie off of his contract, and we'll do one of yours. You know, we'll trade you Pedro Pascal for Tobey Maguire or whatever. I don't know. Just pulling names out of the hat. So that's another reason why you get these really weird, stupid castings. And the average guy like us is, you know, why can't they just cast unknowns? You know, like they did with Christopher Reeve and stuff, who would be a perfect casting. Sometimes they do. You know when they do it? when they absolutely positively need to build a franchise. That's why you get Corn Sweat playing Superman, and not Pedro Pascal. I mean, they need people to accept this guy as Superman, not see him with all the baggage, because we're going to cornerstone this Superman and greater DC thing off of him. Well, this guy, this sanctimonious piece of crap, he appeared in Ghostbusters, and he's appeared in other movies too. Again, not necessarily a Disney thing, but the key is before it flopped. People now look at this and go, "Oh, you were in that movie that nobody saw? That ridiculous piece of crap?" This is people really, truly, honestly starting to wake up. And then you get someone like Seth MacFarlane, who slams Hollywood. We've forgotten how to tell stories of hope. Now, if there is anyone in the entertainment industry who would be considered on the left, would be considered super progressive, that would be considered woke, it's this guy. He really is. But he's one of the more clear thinking wokos, right? He's somebody who understands, yes, I consider myself enlightened and whatnot, and kumbaya, can't we all just get along? But at the same time, he also understands certain things about basic human nature, right? And storytelling, and what we enjoy in our stories, right? When you have someone like Seth MacFarlane making a comment like that, you're like, the lights have come on. Bill Maher is another one that I would point to. He's a lefty. But when he says something with some clear thinking, it sounds right wing, because the Overton window has moved so far. Well, the populace are pulling that Overton window back and saying, you people are nuts. And that look, he's like, I'm looking at you, Paramount, and your Star Trek bull crap. That's exactly why he created the Orville. It was a direct response to what was happening to Star Trek. In that regard, he's kind of one of us, And this is exactly what I was saying, Leia Plus Size. I was never a fan of MacFarlane, but he is right. I have felt that way for a while now, that it seems Hollywood does not want fans to have hope. And there have been too many people in Hollywood that have felt this way and just been afraid to say anything. And it takes somebody like MacFarlane, who has made it his mission to work outside of the Hollywood machine, sometimes to his detriment, but also in a very trailblazing kind of way. And not for any ideological reasons, just for straight business reasons. He wants to make the thing he wants to make, so I'm going to tell the studios to go F off. I'm going to do my stuff my way in my own time. But that also gives him the freedom to be able to speak his mind, because he doesn't care what the studios say. He's already working outside of the studio paradigm. So let's get into this one a little bit. Famously the voice behind Peter Griffin and Quagmire of Family Guy, among many others, believes much of today's Hollywood television landscape is, well, depressing. MacFarlane appeared on the Where Everybody Knows Your Name podcast and shared his candid thoughts on Hollywood's current offerings. The podcast, hosted by Cheers star Ted Danson, again, not a real bastion of right-wing conservatism, reflected on an era when TV could feel hopeful and welcoming, a place where everybody knows your name. Which is kind of what I try to do here on this channel, you know? That whole Cheers concept was definitely in the back of my mind as I was putting Last Call together. Seth MacFarlane reminisced about shows from his youth, saying, when I was a kid, Hollywood was providing that voice in various forms, and there was a lot of hope. He cited Star Trek The Next Generation as inspiration for his own creation of the Orville, a fun, space-oriented take on the sci-fi genre. By contrast, he said, the dishes that we are served up now are so dystopian and so pessimistic. And yeah, there's a lot to be pessimistic about, but it's so one-sided. There's nothing there's nothing we're doing that's providing anyone an image of hope. Shows like The Sopranos and Handmaid's Tales, he argued, exemplify this bleak turn. I don't think you have to go that far back to The Sopranos. I mean, just if you stay much more recent and within our fandoms, the current Star Trek, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, definitely the superhero stuff. The Snyderverse was nihilism and stoicism cranked to 11. Yeah, here he gets a little into it here. MacFarlane acknowledged the craftsmanship behind Hollywood TV hits like The Handmaid's Tales, calling it beautifully written, beautifully directed, but emphasizing its dismal outlook. There is a lot more of that than what we used to get from Captain Picard, he noted. Used to get from Captain Picard, not so much anymore. He also pointed out Hollywood's fixation on anti-heroes and suggested that the industry has perhaps lost its sense of purpose. One of his most poignant statements to Danson, what we do well is tell stories, and we're not doing the best job right now of telling those stories in a way that gives people hope. Beyond Handmaid's Tales and Sopranos, shows like 13 Reasons Why and Drawn Together explore darker aspects of life that most audiences encounter daily. Even superhero and sci-fi shows often skew grim. Again, why is he going all the way back to Drawn Together? When was the last time that was on the air? He's a lot of these Hollywood people very behind the curve. Take Marvel's Ironheart, for instance. Riri Williams, a genius with extraordinary opportunities, turns her back on these gifts, scams fellow students, complains about not being Tony Stark, and joins a gang of criminals. Hardly the lighthearted, hopeful fare viewers expect from a superhero series. Where does this leave us? Trends in entertainment cycle, and perhaps the era of relentless dark stories is waning. There was a time when television could tackle life lessons while still offering hope. Shows like Good Times, The Facts of Life, Cheers, Friends, The Office made audiences laugh, fall in love with characters, learn something, and leave with a smile. Television should inspire the best in humanity. Boy, when I think about some of the storylines from specifically Good Times, The Facts of Life, Friends, one that they left off, All in the Family, those were shows that were very, very focused on certain cultural things that needed to be talked about, sometimes very uncomfortably, in a very sitcomish kind of way. And you can't do that now. You're not allowed to do that now. And I don't mean we still have a First Amendment. You are allowed, legally speaking. But the entertainment industry has made it almost impossible. Almost impossible. Unless you're someone like this that's operating outside of that studio system. Television should inspire the best in humanity. Even if Hollywood strays from that path, we live in a time where platforms like YouTube allow creators to inspire and uplift. What did I say going into the stream today? My intent today was to give you a little bit of hope that we are starting to win the culture war. The human spirit is resilient, and as Doc Brown once said, the future is whatever you make of it. So, make it a good one. Yeah, absolutely true. Absolutely true. And I also said at the top of the show, you guys are coming off of this whole Cracker Barrel thing and saying, see, it's still happening. It is. But these things tend to work themselves out because you don't have people just going in and saying, well, it's still Cracker Barrel. I can still get my chicken fried steak. You know, we talked about this yesterday on Geeky Geezers. And actually, although I have some great memories of Cracker Barrel, Agent Boomer had much clearer images of the changing menu over the years, and all that's been lost, you know, and now the whole identity has been lost, and that's what it is. This they tell you on the one hand that identitarianism, this intersectionalism, you know, everyone needs to be represented. Everyone needs to be represented. Representation, DEI, representation. They say that. They try to implement it. But on this side of the coin, they are trying to erase your identity. They are trying to make everyone the same. Gender's just a construct. It's fluid. There is no gender. There is no race. There is no identity. We are all one. Socialism, communism, all one. That's their idea of representation. Blur the line. Oh, it doesn't matter if you replace this white character with this black character or this man with this woman. It's all the same. It's all the same. I mean, and if you see that out to its logical end, you eventually get to movies that are hero character, have struggle, overcome struggle because great. Yay! The end. And that's how every movie will be. You know, that's what they are trying to do. Minimalism, Marxism go hand in hand. They absolutely do. The episode of Good Times that stuck with me, Troy, was when JJ got shot. And James went down to the police station to literally kill the boy who shot his son. Oh, it just jumped on me. But when he saw him interact with his mother and how pathetic he was, he just couldn't do it. And he didn't know why he couldn't do it. And Florida told him, because you're a good man. Yeah. And what a great message, ultimately. Looking at a very complex, triggering subject with such positivity, right? Doesn't matter. Couldn't even talk about that on YouTube because you mentioned a firearm, and that immediately gets your video taken down. If you keep talking about them, you get demonetized, and it's ridiculous. You want to help somebody who's struggling with depression and might be having some very, very dark thoughts. Sorry, you can't use YouTube to do that. Gonna have to let them die. That's what YouTube says. Just let them die, because we can't talk about that. That's bad. The Good Times episode that stuck with me was when the banker refused to pay JJ for his artwork, and James stood up for his son and his family. Yeah. Oh, imagine that. Good father standing up for his family. Heaven forbid we can't have that, because that's another part of Marxism. They want to eliminate the father figure because they want the government to be your father. That's the insidious. And this is not, this isn't, woo-woo type of conspiracy theories. This is demonstrable from history. It's happened over and over and over again. They've literally written playbooks on how to do that. Look up Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. Just look at everything that Marx wrote. They literally codified it. This is how-to manuals for our governments. It's not a theory. It's a demonstrable fact. I don't know, man. I just don't know. And people wonder why I drink. But like I said, and what really kind of got me talking about this and thinking about this was really today watching Culture Casino's 6 Minute Daily. Because he was kind of talking about how the culture war, he has really felt it has been an actual literal war, and that he's been fighting it for at least as long as he's been on YouTube. And I realized that's actually why most of us started our channels. That's why Doomcock started his channel. That's why Curtis Selby and Deleted Scenes and Age of Boomer and myself, that's why we all created our channels. Because we saw our culture under attack, and we chose to fight back. I said at the beginning of the year that I was going to make YouTube my full-time job, so obviously I have a personal stake in making this channel a success for my own living. But that's not the only reason. In fact, a probably more important reason is to have an impact on the culture in a positive way, to counteract all of this negative. It really is a culture war that all of you are with me on, because you're here and you care about your country, you care about your people, and by your people, I mean that in every way. I don't just mean people that are the same color as you or whatever identitarian group. I mean that and every other identitarian group you might be a part of, every philosophy and belief you might be a part of, the country that you are, a nation that you are a citizen of, all of those are your people. All of those are your people. I like to believe I'm your people too. I figure that's probably why you're here, Yeah, it's like the Psychops of Babylon 5. I would say Section 31 of the Federation. Everybody has their secret police, right? Trust the core. The core is mother. The core is father. Trust the core. This comes from history. They're not drawing this out of nowhere. You can find direct corollaries to actual history. It happened before. We always say never again, and here we are. It's happening again. We got to make sure, but at least this time there's people shouting it from the balconies and waving flags in London saying no, absolutely not. Guys, it's a bit grim. It is. And there's definitely a great deal of reason to be concerned. But there's also a lot of reason to feel positive. There's a lot of reason to feel positive because here we are, right? And all these articles that I just shared with you, people waking up, people realizing. Maybe a little slow, maybe a little late, but ultimately it's happening, and that's a good thing. Anyway, that's all I wanted to muse about today. I hope you are encouraged. Members, keep an eye out. There will be a movie tonight. Those of you who are not members, why not? Come on, you're my people. For as little as $2 a month. $2. It's almost nothing. Heck, I only see about 2/3 of that myself anyway, because part of it goes to YouTube. But for $2 a month, you can help keep this channel going, right? You can help me to continue to do what I do, fighting in this culture war, little as it might be. And every Monday night, members only movie night. Sometimes a movie that's still in theaters, maybe. Just saying. But just consider it. Just think about it and consider it. Thank you guys so much for spending your lunchtime with me. You could have been anywhere and you chose to be here. I can't express my gratitude enough. You all take care. Members, I'll see you later tonight. Everyone else, I'll see you on Liquid Lunch tomorrow. Take care.
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon.
So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon, chasing that jazz under the high noon.